And we're live.
Welcome back to the WRTI Performance Studio. I'm Susan Lewis, and I'm here with Erin Bush, the director of the Young Women Composers Camp, which is taking place on Temple University's campus, and Marianne Gruzwalski, who is the choral director at the camp. Now, we are here. We left you in part one with, we had heard 3 performances of 3 new works by 3 of the people participating here. And now we have all 18 here because every one of these students has been composing this week. And there will be a student recital we'll talk about later at the end of the week. But Erin, what is the role, do you think? Or they're studying composition, but they're studying a lot of other things.
Yeah, so it's a really jam-packed 2 weeks. A lot of different kinds of courses. They have every morning composition seminar where they study works by women composers. They have theory, and then they have choir. So that's their daily morning. And then in the afternoon, we have orchestration. We bring in ensembles to demonstrate their instruments. We have some electronic music. We have improvisation. We had a film composer Skype in. And we had 2 guest composers, Andrea Clearfield and Jennifer Higdon, who both visited and gave master classes. So it's jam-packed.
Wow, a lot going on. Yes. And Marianne, what is the role from your perspective on having a choir?
So as far as I know, at every composing camp, it's important to include an element of performance. And the logistics of, bringing a bunch of young women to a camp in all their various instruments is not ideal, and, orchestration and finding an ensemble or pieces that work for them. So singing really logistically is the easiest thing. And as far as I know, this is typical with composition camps as well. So no different for this camp. And the reason I think that it's perfect for a young women composers camp in general is because singing, like music playing in any ensemble, but especially singing, really invites that sense of community. And because it's so personal, and it also just gives us an opportunity to take these things that the girls are learning during the day, even if it's not necessarily writing for voices, which they do study that a little bit, but to take that and flip it on the side and realize that, oh yes, like people are actually going to be performing these works, and you have to interpret them as you have to try and think about them as you're writing them as somebody who would interpret to actually play or to sing. So important to keep that in mind.
Okay, so now what about you all? Can anybody talk about what singing in a choir does, how it helps your composition process? Come on up. Could you just say your name and where you're from?
Hi, my name's Catherine. I'm from South Dakota, and it's really cool to just be here, and especially to have a choir. It's awesome just because it gives you a lot of perspective, especially when you think about the thought process that the actual composer would have gone through when making the composition. You just really get to think about like what it is to be the composer, yes, but also to be in the performer's shoes. And I think that's a really helpful thing to have.
That's pretty interesting. So it informs your work as a composer, knowing that other people will perform it. And what is your name and where are you from?
My name is Audrey. I'm from Boston. Yeah, I would definitely agree with Kat. I think for me, I've definitely more identified as a composer than a singer necessarily. So, but I think one of the things I've learned here is that how important just representation is in the media, and I think that choir in our setting has really enhanced that for me, just being able to perform works by female composers and by composers who are so different and diverse in their styles, and just being able to know that there are people who are actually performing these new works, and kind of it just reinforces the whole idea of this entire camp, I think.
That's great. So thank you so much. And Marianne, what is the piece that you've chosen to perform for us?
So the piece is called Be Like the Bird, and it's by a female living composer. She actually is based out of Minnesota. Her name is Abby Bettinas, and this piece is very special to me and to really anybody I know who has come across it in any way, shape, or form. Abby Bettinas has a direct connection to Alfred Burt, who is very famous for traditional Christmas carols, and I believe she's like his great niece or something like that. But the tradition in their family is that she would write a different Christmas carol sometimes around every year, and their family would all join in and sing. And this piece was actually taken from a Victor Hugo text, basically speaking about a bird that, is resting on a tree and realizes that it's stable enough to support the bird, but then it sings because it has wings to fly, so it's okay. And she wrote this carol after she found out she was diagnosed with cancer. So it's incredibly moving, and I feel like you can really sense all of those things, the tradition, her family, and her own personal meanings and intentions behind the piece when you hear it performed.
Wow. You're listening to WRTI. We're live from the WRTI Performance Studio, streaming live. Go to our website. You can click on the right button, and it'll take you right to the YouTube link. So now we will hear Abby Bettina's Be Like the Bird.
Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a while on boughs to slide, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, knowing she hath wings. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a while on boughs to slide, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, knowing she hath wings. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a bird that pausing in her flight, a bird that pausing in her flight, a bird that feels and gives way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, like a bird that pausing in her flight, a bird that pausing in her flight, a bird that feels and gives way beneath her, and sings and sings, knowing she hath wings.
Be Like the Bird by Abby Petinas, sung by members of the Young Women Composers Camp as you're wrapping up your intensive 2-week session at Temple University's campus. Erin, congratulations, and congratulations to all of you for this amazing experience.
Oh, they sound so beautiful. It's such a joy to be in here with all of you.
Well, and you're doing so many different things. You're taking courses, and you're seeing a little bit of Philadelphia, and you're singing in the choir. At the end of the camp, it ends Friday. Mm-hmm. There's a free student recital, I understand.
Yes, that's correct. So Friday, 2:30 at Rock Hall on the main campus at 1715 North Broad Street. We have our world premieres concert. So all of our students have written a new piece for the ensemble you heard in the first live stream, which is flute, cello, and piano, or for the Splice Ensemble, which is trumpet, piano, and electronics. So that's at 2:30, and it's free admission, and you'll also get to hear some more songs sung by our choir, by other female composers. And it's just a wonderful event. Some of these girls are writing their very first piece here with us.
Well, it is pretty exciting. I mean, your goal was to encourage women composers, but also to promote women composers' exposure in the curriculum of schools.
Yes, I mean, really, someone before said representation. I mean, it's really important to just like understand that women are part of the canon, and see that women are being performed and are equally as valued in order for other young girls or non-binary folk to be interested in being a part of that world.
And it's exciting for all of us to see this next generation of female composers. So congratulations. Thank you so much for coming to the WRTI Performance Studio. And we wish you well.